to another episode of
The Struggle is Real.
You hesitated on the jazz hands.
Because I forgot. Dang it.
We only do this every time, Eric.
My bad.
Okay, I'm your host, Mahaya Latorchu.
I'm Eric Francisco Medina.
And I'm Ryan Pack.
And we're your Struggle is Real team.
Hey.
So today, really excited about the person that we're interviewing today. She is a good friend. I feel like I say this all the time. Everybody's all of our good friends, okay?
I mean, she's great.
Yeah, but Angie's awesome. Her name is Angie Castillo, and she is a Latina Emmy-nominated media professional. And before we jump into her bio,
also,
let's do our...
Can we talk about how am I slowly turning The Struggle is Real into a Hispanic show? So it's gonna be no sé, how do you say struggle in Spanish? Wow, and that's my native language.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. What is struggle? Oh my god, I forgot about struggle. Keep introducing the topic of the day.
We have
Google Translate, but I wanna
in Spanish. My computer automatically knew what I was trying to do. Difícil.
No, it's not. El conflicto, el forceo, la contienda, la lucha. Let's say la lucha, which is kind of like the struggle.
La lucha
es real.
Es real.
La lucha es real. So suddenly we're going to go to Telemundo, Univision.
That's right. And because we got lucha, we can also do WWE.
No. Okay, we're done. We're done. Back to English. Back to English.
Okay.
So guys, let's jump into the topic of the day. I think we should talk about our favorite horror movies or horror movies that have fucked us up.
I haven't been the biggest fan of horror because I do not like to get scared. I get physical when people scare me. So you can ask my cousin who always tries to scare me, and I always just throw a punch at him because that's the way that I react. So I just don't like to be scared. I don't like people screaming at me. I don't do it. So I the biggest memories of watching horror movies is maybe as a young adult or a teenager in my 70s. Wow, 17.
Tell us how old you really are.
I'm 24, guys. But in my when I was 18,
lucky you still have health insurance.
But yeah,
that's the real horror movie. You turn 26 and you have no more health insurance.
The IRS.
Yeah, I was about to say this sequel, the IRS.
The IRS. I don't like it.
What? I love it.
And it's stupid. The thing is that the movie is stupid.
I liked the first one. The second one had some fucking plot holes.
Like, I haven't watched the second one, but I heard
the second one had some plot holes. I was literally like, why is this doing this? You're not, like, what the fuck? Like, there were a lot of plot holes.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I remember a movie that a teacher put us in school.
What?
They're evil. Teachers sometimes are evil. You guys are wonderful, but sometimes evil. She put on the classroom mirrors. Do you remember that movie Mirrors? The one that breaks? Like there's demons stuck in like
I've never
inside
seen
the
that.
mirrors and like breaks.
Google.
Yeah.
Mirrors.
So whatever the demon does to himself in the to itself in the mirror, that will happen in real life.
It was with Paula Patton. Cameron Boyce?
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. Exactly. I don't remember any of them. Yeah, and so if she will open her mouth in real life, in the mirror, the demon, that it will cut. Like you could see the girl like just opening her mouth like horribly and just screaming. It was horrible. And I saw it the year after 2009. How old was I?
2008.
2000. Yeah, but I saw it when it came on DVD. In my house, but in my school, but I couldn't look at the
11
mirror.
Years ago, so. It was 11 years ago, so you would have been 13.
13. So I couldn't look in the mirror for a week. Because I was scared that a demon was gonna get my spirit and do it. And I was 13, guys. I don't mess with horror movies. And it's just that it's in the back of your mind. And it's not like, it's gonna get me. It's that, what if it does happen? That is the question. Like, what if that's with it? I don't walk near those gutters or stuff because it's not there. But what if it does?
What if? There's always the what if.
The what if? I'm scared. No, I don't do that.
What horror movies fucked me up?
Well, for me, y'all be you guys might be surprised, but it was Lord of the Rings. Like when I was in like elementary school.
I've never even seen it, so.
Oh, I know what you're gonna go. Yeah.
So when I was in elementary school, when I saw like Golem for the first time, it freaked me out. I was like, "What the heck is this?"
You know what's
creature?
My grandmother, because my grandmother is super intellectual, and she's like, let's analyze everything. Mm-hmm. Golem is basically the reflection of what could Frodo become. So it's like the evil, those evil intentions of a person taking over a human. And my grandmother was like, that's how it will happen to you.
Oh my gosh, your grandmother said that?
If my grandmother loves Game of Thrones. She said, I watched Game of Thrones with my grandmother, but she would say more like you can become Golem if you don't act right.
Yeah.
So I get why would you be traumatized. I wasn't. I don't know how.
For me, it was just the appearance. It's just it freaked me out when I was a kid. But after like
the way that he talks to himself too.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? But now, like, you know, when I watched it again when I was in middle school, I loved it. I loved the movies. Yeah. The trilogy.
Yeah.
Masterpiece.
But I get what we said. Why would you say that?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm trying to figure out what other movies freaked me out as a kid. I tried not to watch scary movies that much.
Same here. I hate scary movies.
Oh, okay. I remember some. So A Haunting in Connecticut was one of the things that freaked me the fuck out. It was one of the Ed and Lorraine movies.
Wasn't it like
inspired? Or Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Was it inspired by a true event?
Yes, it was inspired by a true event. So at the time, obviously, now that I'm in the industry, I know when it says inspired by a true event, it's all horse shit.
Right.
But like
they exaggerated.
The person, like, I was like, what, 13 when I saw it? I was like, oh my God, everything in this movie is true. Real. It's what had happened. Oh my God. Yeah. And at the end of the movie, spoiler fucking alert. But if you haven't seen it, I don't know what else to tell you.
Spoiler alert. Just warning.
There are dead bodies in the walls of the house that they're living in.
Oh shit.
And like they start tearing down the wallpaper and the bodies start falling out, and then there's like eyelids or something in like a jar. And that fucked me up because I was like, oh my God. We had just moved from New York to North Carolina. So I was like,
it's like
oh
a new
my
house.
God.
Oh my God.
It was a new house. And like, I mean, my mom built the house. So like no one had lived in it. But there was a thing with the plumbing where you would hear knocking at night underneath the floorboards. I don't know why. It stopped after a while, but I would sit there like, oh my God, somebody's trapped under the house and they're trying to kill us. It's a body. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh my gosh. You know,
like
that story reminds me of Jason Burr.
Yeah.
Like he told me that house that he lived in, there was a homeless guy that was living underneath the house. Like there, you know, some houses like it's like exterior, but like you can go underneath the house.
Yeah, my house in Puerto Rico was like that.
Yeah. So someone was living. According to him, someone was living underneath.
No, that's extremely possible. I have a friend here in Atlanta.
But then you will think they're ghosts.
She found out that her landlord
was
like
leaving?
No, she. So the landlord converted her house into 3 apartments. So it's my friend, the landlord, and my friend's boyfriend. They were neighbors before they started dating. Whatever, still have their own separate apartments, but it's all of them in this house. But they were hearing strange noises at night, and they were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh my god!
And apparently, there's like this. It's not a basement, almost like a cellar, I guess. But like there's a mattress in it and all of that. And they found out that the landlord was like allowing this homeless guy to kind of like take shelter there. And she was like, I don't have a problem with it. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'm seeing shadowy figures at night. I'm hearing noises at night. I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to die. This is it.
This is it.
And she's a white girl. So she's like, Mahalia, this is how I go. This is how I go. Well, it writes itself.
Yeah, and also you start thinking about all those issues. Remember when we went? Okay, Ryan, Mahalia, and
I know
I,
what
we
you're
went to
talking about.
scout a house. Do you remember this? During the night for a music video. The empty
For your
house.
Inuyasha music
The
video.
Inuyasha music
Oh.
video in Covington.
Uh-huh.
We went to scout a
yes.
house.
It was
Yes.
at night.
And it was at
It was
night.
at night.
So you go, we are outside. It was super dark. The house was empty, but behind it, it has like a big patchy forest area, whatever. And suddenly,
Like
we
it
go
definitely leads
outside.
off into like a wooded
Yeah.
area.
Suddenly we go outside and we start hearing noises, and we're like, "Oh shit!" But what happens when you see horror movies? You analyze, and you say, "Wait, all the people of color go first.
Yeah, no.
They always die first." Suddenly,
So
we
dummy
look
goes,
around.
Mahalia, why don't you go up first? I said, I'm the darkest one. You know I'm going to die. Don't do that to me.
I was like, "You go first." But the thing is that then we started to analyze, and the four of us, the other person who was there, we were all people of color, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
gosh.
No,
This is
the
the way we
worst.
all
The
die.
worst thing was I put my flashlight on because we wanted to shoot in a wooded area, so
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if we can use what was behind the house. So the dummy and me kept going closer, trying to see. Well, if we could just
And I was like-
climb up with the camera, maybe we can utilize this so we get a 2-for-1. And then we saw some eyes in the woods.
Yeah. Oh
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to shut the fuck up.
I think we just closed them and went home. We were like,
Oh,
"Okay."
yeah. We were like, nope, this is
We're
it.
out.
It's time to go. Time to go.
See, yeah, mommy, you seen the movie that people
No,
of color go
Eric,
first?
fucking Eric.
Oh, yeah, I
went
didn't go
inside
inside.
the house
Oh, and I
you
locked the
locked
door.
it. You locked it. I was so pissed. I was
I'm
like,
so
this
mean.
man wants us to die. And I was like, that's when the
Oh,
monster's
gosh.
actually inside the
The
house
house
and
is
your
like,
ass
uh-oh.
gets ate.
Plot
So,
twist.
Eric dead. I mean, but that's how you see in movies that people of color always die first. And
Oh,
that's,
yeah. And I'm the darkest one, so I'm like, damn, I know I'm going to go first. I know it's going to be me.
Jesus, please. Do not let me go first. Yeah, it was funny. That was-
Another
man.
movie that fucked me up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's with Nicole Kidman. It's called The Others.
That she's like in a wedding dress. Is that the one, or a white dress?
No.
Oh no, never mind.
She's she plays this like mom who has 2 kids
Let's
living
see,
in their
The
house.
Others.
Spoiler alert, I'm about to ruin the fucking movie.
But it's old, right?
It's old.
Yeah,
It's old.
It's old.
It's 2001.
Oh,
so
the
it's been
kid
19
has
years.
the.
Yes.
Okay, I remember this.
It's like a sleeping gown or whatever that she keeps putting them in.
Ah.
But anyway, the plot twist is it's this family haunted by ghosts, and then at the end they realize that they're the ones that were ghosts. And it freaked me the fuck out because I was like, oh my god, am I a ghost? Like, did I die and not notice? Because the plot twist, for me anyway, it felt really good. And then there was a grandma with like a blind eye that was like, it was like one of those milky white eyes, and it freaked me the fuck out.
Oh god.
This one.
Oh
Yes,
man.
like she was blind in both eyes. It was just really, really fucking creepy. And they had like pictures of dead people. That movie fucked me up as a kid.
Yeah, that's why I don't do. I mean, I never saw any big films like those classic.
I was never
ones.
allowed to watch
Yeah, me
Candyman.
neither.
We had the VHS tape of Candyman, and I was like, oh, he's giving lollipops to kids. This is obviously fantastic. And my dad snatched the VHS tape from me. He was like, this is not for you. And I said, how selfish.
I'm selfish. I want
How
lollipops.
selfish. You just mad that I'm going to watch a movie about a man who gives out candy. Just rude.
Rude.
And then I watched Candyman last year for the first time, and I was like, thank
Oh.
God. Thank God you snatched that VHS
But
tape.
movies like that I haven't seen. I have seen Poltergeist. Poltergeist, is that the movie?
Yeah.
Right?
Now I
haven't seen
love watching them because I'm like, this is hilarious.
the original Exorcist. I haven't
Oh,
seen
dude.
that one,
Dude,
and
the
I don't
stairs
want
scene?
to.
Oh, look at the stairs.
No, you know what
Jason
house
and
really
Freddy. None of them.
You know what movie really fucked me up? Amityville Horror.
Wait, what?
Amityville Horror. And it's based off a true story.
Oh gosh, I hate
But
these
like
pictures.
a father goes crazy and kills his family in their house with an axe. And in the movie, their basement was a portal to hell. But in real life, it was a father who killed his family. And people claim that the father was possessed, and that's why, kind of like The Shining, but like.
So it's like an old movie. Oh, wow, this one.
Wait, what year was it?
I think it was that one, the one that I watched, 1979.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Long Island. So the real house was only a few minutes away from where we lived.
You're kidding.
No, like I think it was like a 20-minute drive. And I remember there was one time where we actually like passed the house, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
whoa,
that fucked me up because I was like, "Oh my god." I don't know how that basement is gonna move, but it's gonna fucking move into our basement, and then that's it.
Yeah,
it's over.
I mean, when I moved to United States, again, I was 22? It was 3 years ago, 22, 21. And I saw where I was moving to. And I was like, this is how I'm going to die. Because in horror movies, you see like, I mean, it's always in the United States. I mean, obviously everything in a movie. But in my mind, growing up, I was like, well, all that stuff happens in the United States. So I moved to Georgia, and Georgia, has the great people. But I was like, oh, do I need to deal with murderers and racist people? Okay, this is how I die. And then I was driving down 120 to Covington, and I was like, oh, for sure there's Jason hiding in a corner. And to this day, I hate driving, those long country roads with those. I'm like,
and like forests everywhere, trees everywhere.
Yeah,
no
I'm
civilization.
I was like, no, I will always go 120, no matter what. Do I get traffic? Okay, cool, but nobody will kill me with a chainsaw. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of crazy people, but yeah, definitely. But I haven't seen Candyman. I haven't seen none of those classic ones. I will definitely never see Hereditary. Is that the name?
Hereditary.
Or Midsummer. Everybody's like, Midsommar. It's amazing.
Midsummer.
And I'm like,
I want to see
weird.
But it's supposed to be
all
like weird
in the daytime, right?
Yeah, daytime.
That's the whole thing that they're playing with.
Oh, it's just weird.
And they research a lot of cult like members, and same with Hereditary. They interview many satanics to make sure that it was accurate. So they did that same thing with Hereditary. I'm like, if you're trying to make it accurate, I'm not gonna open a door to that.
Have you guys seen The Grudge?
No.
The US version or the
the old
Japanese,
one.
Japanese version.
Oh,
I've seen both.
Jennifer Bodies bit me in the ass.
Oh, I didn't see
because
that.
I saw Megan Fox and I was like, I'm gonna see it.
She's hot. Yeah,
I'm gonna see it. And then I'm watching the movie and I was like,
whoops.
No, that's your fault for falling for the hotness. That's what they got you. No, if you guys had ever seen The Grudge, that one kind of fucked me up.
Is that the
too.
one with the no? That's
the long black hair.
The Ring fucked me up too.
Every time you turned it to the
crawled out. Cross out of the TV. I was like, what?
No, I think The Grudge is the girl that fell out of the well, right?
No, that's the Ring. The Ring is the one that she climbs out of the well and goes like. Out.
That one fucked me up too.
I know that some horror fanatic will listen to this episode and he's like, what the hell are they talking about?
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I know that one.
All I know is that it was the girl.
Yes.
I can't remember
really pale
it specifically, but I remember I did watch the Japanese version. And I just remember going, this is fucked up. Who came up with this? How do you do this? Do you not love yourselves? What's going on?
But just to end the conversation, we know that the scariest story is always what?
The IRS. Always.
They will find you.
Oh,
and
no,
they will
I
kill you.
have a better one.
Child trauma?
Student loans.
Oh my gosh.
You feel the tremble, don't you?
I'm shook.
Sally Mae is coming for you.
I'm shook.
Great Lakes. Great Lakes is the monster.
Oh, God.
Oh,
all right.
God. I'm going to cry. Be right back.
Anyways.
I'm going to cry.
Yeah. We'll cry about our student loans later. Let's jump into Angie's bio. Angie Castillo, let me say that again. Angie Castillo is a Latina Emmy-nominated media professional and producer with 10 years of experience in news gathering, writing, package, and field production, video editing, digital platforms, and breaking news. She studied journalism at Florida International University. Her past work experiences include working on CNN on-air presentations, CNN ESPAñOL, and even with the Miami Heat. Angie is also an up-and-coming actress and the Atlanta ambassador for the Latino Filmmakers Network. LFN aims to connect, inspire, educate, and create opportunities for the Latino community while also promoting diversity and inclusion in Hollywood. So that is our guest for today. She's obviously multifaceted, has years of experience underneath her belt, not just with filmmaking, but with news as well. So can't wait to jump in with her. So let's call her.
Well, Angie, we're so excited to have you in our podcast today. You're a great creator. And before we talk, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am a Colombian immigrant. I raised in South Florida and landed in ATL about 8 years ago to continue my career as a journalist and to work for CNN since the headquarters are here in Atlanta. So I packed my stuff. I left South Florida where my family is. And I said, I've always wanted to work in TV and this is my long dream. So I came here and I've been here since.
That's cool.
Nice. So you have a background in journalism. What specifically got you interested in film?
Yeah, so that's a great question. As far as I can remember, when I was a freshman in high school, I knew I had an interest for like TV and film. So my very first experience was taking my first elective was a TV production class and TV and film production class in high school. And I'm going to date myself, but I was sitting in that class when 9/11 happened. That's just a random fact. Yeah. I remember sitting in that class when 9/11 happened. My teacher wasn't one of those that had the TV on. I didn't know anything until I got home, but we started hearing like something was going on. So anyway, my first experience was in that class. But growing up in Colombia, I was really into the arts, like doing my school plays and dances and theater, community theater. So growing up, I was just, exposed to that and I always loved it. And then being an immigrant, when you move to a new country, things change so much. You lose a little bit of like your involvement in that you're just in a brand new environment. It's like culture shock. Yeah. So for a lot of years, I didn't do any of it until my freshman year of high school. I was like, well, I always like TV, film, stuff like that. So that was my first step into it. And then fast forward, I was going to college and I needed to decide like, what am I going to do with my life? My parents don't think that acting is a career. They don't think, So if I go to school and I get a degree, I was like, what do I want to do with it? FIU had this really good journalism broadcasting program. And I knew it wasn't anything to do with film, but it was, more a journalistic approach. But I love that too. That interests me. So that's kind of how I got started in my career in TV. But I've always had a love for film and like old films and watching like Marilyn Monroe and like really like old stuff like that. So I always knew I wanted to find a way to merge the two together. Because at the end of the day, it's all storytelling. So once you do one, I think it's you're there. Like you. And another funny story from my college days is that I always tell people, because it's a huge lesson. My one of my professors at FIU in creative writing. Yeah. We had to write these essays, and this was like one of the 101 classes when you first start. Yeah. You're like, right.
The introduction. Yeah.
And you had to write stuff about like they're like write an essay about a fruit, and you had to make it like interesting. It's like it can be anything. It's just center around that topic. And I'm like, I have no idea. Like. My professor said to me after I turned in a few papers, she's like, you really should consider doing something else. Like she literally told me that I was a bad writer, like I couldn't write. Oh, wow. And I believed that. For all the years I believed that I was not a good writer, that wasn't my strength, that maybe I could learn to just write for TV because it's short and concise. And so I focused my internships in TV, like news, broadcasting, TV news. Like I did an internship at MTV, which was more entertainment, and then with Univision in Miami.
Yeah.
And and then I went to work for the Miami Heat, which was amazing. So, but this whole time I'm thinking, like, I can't write. I'm never gonna be a good writer. I'm not a good writer. And now I've been writing at CNN for 4 years, and it turned out that I actually was good at it.
Wow.
But it took me.
Isn't that crazy how a teacher can make or break how you perceive your work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can. And it wasn't until one of my bosses at CNN about 5 years ago, I was working as an associate producer. And part of my job was to rotate different departments, doing different things, video editing and APing for shows. One of the rotations was writing for the CNN ticker. So that's just like 100% writing, and my background was video editing and doing packages and, putting stories together, visual stories. And I'm like, I don't know, Colleen, that was my manager. I don't know if I'm going to do well because you have to take a writing test to see if you can do the rotation.
Oh, that's interesting. They actually give you a test to take.
Yeah, they give you a test to do the rotation as an AP. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, just do it. Just do it. I think you'll be fine. And I did it, and they said I did well. So I got the rotation. I worked as a rotation AP for 6 months. And then a full-time opening became available, and I got hired full-time writing. And I always told my bosses, I was like, you know what? My teacher in college told me I could not write. And maybe the creative part of it, that's not something I've explored fully. Mm-hmm. But if you can continue to believe things and people tell you, and you just never know. Sometimes other people come across and they push you and they encourage you and challenge you, and then you find out something about yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
How does the industry in Florida differ from the industry in Atlanta? Because when I was in Florida, after I graduated undergrad, I moved back in with my parents in Florida, and I found it extremely difficult to permeate the industry there. Like, it just felt like a foreign world that was so hard to like get into. In Atlanta, it just felt easier. So for you, how was that experience?
I definitely could see how that could be a challenge, especially if you're breaking into filmmaking in Florida. There's just not that many. I can't think of that many circles.
Yeah. It was like I had to work on a documentary was the way that I was finally like breaking into the industry, and then I was like, I hate Florida, I'm leaving.
Yeah, exactly. There's not that many. And I knew that early on in my career. I was like, if I want to do more stuff, I'm probably gonna have to move to New York or LA, which I wasn't opposed to, but it just never, once I knew that I wanted to like come to CNN, because I had done internships at CNN, I was like, well, I could go to Atlanta. And then it turned out that Atlanta was, becoming this big spot for filmmakers and content producers. So it just worked out. But yeah, Florida, there's just not a lot, like, unless you want to do TV stuff with like I said, maybe like entertainment or news or documentary, they're not there yet.
Yeah.
They used to be, and then they took away the tax incentive in all productions.
Yeah, no, I think that always plays a huge part, and then Georgia has it. So,
and I know that there are some like people in Florida that are working hard to try and bring the tax incentives back. Because it's terrible how stagnant the industry is over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just music videos.
I hope so. Yeah, music videos galore. If that's your, you could definitely work I've worked in music videos, so yeah. But yeah, I hope somebody does bring it back. Right. There's a lot of talent in Florida. There's a lot of diversity, so.
And you can spot a mile away when a shot was done in Florida.
Or exactly.
So it has a very, very unique.
And because especially South Florida is so international, if they bring in the tax incentive back, I would love to see what stories come. From there, because it's literally like a We Are the World industry.
Exactly.
Especially like South Miami and stuff like that.
Yeah. Angie, you are a Colombian immigrant here at the Struggle is Real. We love our immigrants. So
Yes.
you said that obviously you act. You're a great actress. We saw you perform in Abuelita and
the live table read. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys were there?
Yeah, that was the first time we saw you. And
I didn't know you guys were
there too.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where we met Nassim, Gabi, Gabriela,
Danny.
We met everybody.
And did you meet Maylen?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good. I had no idea you were there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the first time. I guess that was the first time in Atlanta, right?
That was the very first thing in Atlanta.
Yeah. We will later talk about Latino Filmmakers Network, but being an immigrant and also a storyteller as an actress and a writer, a journalist, how do you feel that the immigrant experience has shaped your way of telling stories?
It hasn't been something that I've thought about until maybe the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Because being in Atlanta, I had not encountered a lot of people who were doing indie filmmaking, who are immigrants or who had that same point of view. So I kind of just like, when I decided to start acting and go to school and get training, which was when I was doing my research, I'm like, that's the first thing I need to do. I need to go to school. And in school, they were like, well, they give you advice. It's like, just start doing student films and indie films. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know anybody. Like, who's going to want to put me in their stuff? So when I started looking for things to participate in and opportunities, there just was not that many out there. And so people tell you, well, write your own stuff, do your own stuff. But it's like, it's scary. For me, it was like, I don't know where to begin. Like, I don't know what to write. I've never written a screenplay before. I never, that's not my thing. In my head, I'm thinking that. So it's nothing that it hadn't occurred to me until when I started to get involved with the community, with the Latino community, and then once I started to think about it and like put some energy into it, then I had like all these ideas just pour out, like literally like ideas that had to do with like my family's, process and getting, documented and asylum process from Colombia in the 90s. Like a lot of Colombians were leaving, like there was a massive flight. And a lot of us are political asylees. So I had an idea about it, like the interview process and as a kid, how you see your parents,
right?
How you see your parents, how they do things. It's a lot of it you don't understand until you get to a certain age and you're like, oh my gosh, that must have been like just so hard. Like how did
there was a point where in my childhood where I was like, I wish my parents would just be normal. Like, and it didn't occur to me like later on, like that was our normal. And there was nothing wrong with the way that they were because we're from a different culture. And that's okay. But society sometimes makes you feel like, well, if you're not that picket white fence, 2.5 children, whatever type American,
right?
American family, then something's wrong with you.
Yeah. So definitely. So it wasn't something that I had, just really evaluated till recently. And since I have like all these projects in the works and it's like, oh, I want to do everything. I want to do Abuelita. I want to do my own thing that I have, a short that I wrote with my friend Terrence. And so the ideas are there, the willingness is there, and there's a lot more support that is starting to be, drummed up. So
yeah, that's good.
But yeah, it's definitely. And then you have your Latinos who have a different experience, who are, first generation Americans. We all have like a different, even amongst ourselves, the immigrant experience is different from, if you grew up in New York or if you was born in New York or if you were born in South Florida. So, but it's been awesome to meet other people and here in Atlanta and people who come from LA and to share our stories and how different we are.
Yeah.
That was you.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about Latino Filmmakers Network. Can you explain a little bit more about what they are doing, what's their mission here at Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. So Latino Filmmakers Network was started in 2015 at Sundance Film Fest by Maylen Calianes, who's a beautiful, intelligent, like she's a go-getter. She's a filmmaker, she's an actor, she's a writer. And the way she tells it is in 2015, she was in, I forget what the circle was called. I apologize, I forget the name. But they had a group at Sundance.
Yeah.
And I think she just started Latino Filmmakers Network with the purpose of connecting us with each other. You know, there's so many of us out there, and we don't have like a hub or anything like that. And I think for her in LA, she's from South Florida, by the way, but she's been in LA for a long time. And she wanted to connect, talent with people in the industry who are decision makers.
Yeah.
Right. So that we can have these opportunities that we're not getting. Like if you look at statistics, like there's very few, like representation is just lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been working tirelessly to connect us. So they started the reading series in LA. I want to say like about 3 years ago, where she casts actors and she looks for writers to submit their work, and actors get to read it. It helps writers hear it out loud. It's, like an interactive, like an actual, like a, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Live table reading?
Like a live table read, like a performed table read. And she invites the audience of people that she's been able to connect with at film festivals in LA, people who are network, executives and directors, and they've seen success. So she wanted to bring that to Atlanta along with Broken Barriers, which is their partner organization. And so they started it in November, which is the event that you guys went to at Arubro.
Yeah.
That was our first. And I didn't know Maylen.
Which the turnout was amazing.
It was.
That room was packed to the brim.
It was packed. I don't even know if they knew it was gonna be that. Yeah. And I knew they had to turn people away.
Yeah. I do remember that.
The room had a capacity, so.
Wow.
I mean, but it was a lot of fun because when we got in, they had that young man do some stand up, which was actually.
Oh yes, yeah, he was funny.
Everyone was in mood and like so excited to just walk into a room and see, oh my God, look at all the people of color. Oh my.
I know.
And you're all filmmakers? Ooh.
And we all want to do the same thing.
Right?
Yeah, it was fun.
No,
it was fun.
And it's also important to mention that you guys have a Latino group, but you also have a Black group, you have an Asian group, a Middle Eastern group,
That's
and a Native American group, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
a Native American.
The different teams. So was really great to see.
Yeah, to focus on representation from those communities who aren't represented right now. So I think it's
exactly
what you guys are doing. So that's great.
Yeah, that's
how did you get involved with Maylen? Like, how did you guys meet and how did you get involved?
Yeah, so I was gonna tell you that it was because I didn't know Maylen at all. I was following the page on Instagram and she was casting for that read. And I just sent my stuff to her like one day randomly. As like an actor, you submit to everything. You're like, I need, I want to do stuff. So I just submitted. I didn't really understand what it was at all. Like, I don't know if it's a table read. I don't know if it's a taping. I wasn't sure what it was at first. So I just submitted my stuff and then I had forgotten about it. And I got an email from her. She said she wanted to cast me to read one of the parts. And that's how we met. She called me. We talked for like half an hour and that's how we met. She cast me to do Abuelita. And then after that, she was looking for people to continue in Atlanta because she's going back to LA the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I jumped in. She asked me if I wanted to take over, the event, and together with Shams from Broken Barriers. So we just put our forces together. I said, sure, I'll do it. I mean, something else on my plate. I already work full time, but I think we need to have that. Yeah. So that's kind of how we met. That's exactly how we met.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
the second one was amazing too. I mean, having it at Park Tavern was like, oh, so
yeah.
fancy. Like,
Right, I know, right? That was just like relationships, man. In this business and in any business, it's all about relationships. We were able to secure that venue, which by the way, it's like thousands of dollars if you want to throw an event at Park Tavern. And we paid zero.
Whoa.
I think we paid the guy who we paid somebody. But
there was a catering too.
Yeah, it was them, you know. They did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the food was good too.
That's
so
crazy.
we were able to secure Park Tavern, and then when we did Novela Americana, that was the first one.
Yeah.
Was that the first
one?
No,
that was the first one at Park Tavern.
That was the first one at Park Tavern.
Yes.
That's right. And then the one we did after that, and then COVID happened. So
it's like, well,
but we're excited for the next event, whenever that is. Whenever COVID decides to not be a thing anymore,
we will be back. I know they.
But you guys are doing a virtual one, right?
Yeah, Maylin is doing a virtual one. She started back with a virtual one in LA. We haven't done one for Atlanta yet, but we'll see. It's in the works.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
awesome.
Good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited.
Yeah, also
but I will tell you. I will tell you, it's been challenging finding these voices here. I don't know if we just have to expand the marketing, or I don't know where else to look, but
like, you mean actors?
No, writers.
Oh.
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's when you
guys submit.
Right. We will post on our page.
Just submit all your stuff. We'll have you every month.
Oh, you know, we can broadcast to our network. Like we know a lot of like SCAD students who are writers that would love to have their stuff portrayed.
Black writers, Latino writers, Asian writers.
Yeah, SCAD is like international itself.
SCAD Atlanta.
We'll
that would be dope, because we always have plenty of African American voices here in Atlanta, but finding the Latino voices, the Asian, the Native American has been way more challenging, which is why you've seen that the first at Park Tavern, I think we had more teams than we had any other time.
Asian,
but that's just because we hadn't, gotten any submissions from writers. So
right.
That's something we could definitely work on, expanding our reach. So
guys, submit. Everybody submit. Come on. But Novela Americana is the script that we both wrote and submitted. Also, for the people who didn't know, it was a great experience.
I love that script. I want some updates.
We'll update you after the show.
Yeah. We got you.
We had a great cast. I love
the cast was great. Our director was amazing.
Oh my God, Joey is amazing.
Joey was great.
For those of you who don't know, Joey, he has a background in theater. Yeah. And so when he did the live table reading, he directed it as if it was a theater show, and it just brought everything to life. It was so good
he was amazing. After you did the first one, after you did Novela, I was like, Joey, can you stay
forever?
Can you do all the groups, because everyone needs this? And he's like, yes, I'll do it. And then
that's great.
No, he was like high energy. We loved him. He was great.
Yeah, that was a great experience.
Shout out to Joey.
Shout out to Joey.
Joey Davila.
So Eric, I'll let you take this one.
Yes. So one of the biggest issues that we have in our Latino community is colorism. And I think that we see that a lot in television. Most of the times it's because people who may not be from the Latino community do not understand that we come in different colors, so they all cast us the same way. But you as an actress and a creator, how do you think that we as the new generation of Latino filmmakers, and as more Latino filmmakers and creatives get into executive roles and higher up roles, how do you think that we can fix that and sit with our community, have a real conversation? Because I mean, it's a big issue, and maybe for me it's normal that I have a lot of family members who have different skin tones, But for a lot of people, they do not understand why is it so important to talk about colorism in our Latino community.
Yeah, no, totally. It is an issue, and I consider myself an Afro-Latina.
Yeah.
My dad's side of the family was like full Afro-Colombians.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is an issue, and the way we fix it is by, we can't just sit around waiting for whoever's doing the content now to do it. Like you guys, we need people like you, the young, the future storytellers, to write those characters, to write them for, people of all shades, and not just box this into, the darker toned people do this kind of characters, or you're this, these stereotypes. Just the way we fix it is by, writing these characters ourselves, changing the landscape ourselves, and connecting with each other so that we can push each other up, and we can connect each other. That's why every time I see an opportunity, I always shoot you guys like, I'm telling my people like, here, this is here. And I love seeing, I've seen
Angie
a lot
is so
more
awesome at that. Because like, you'll just send us different Instagram stuff like, hey, apply for this, hey, do this, hey, do that. And I'm like, thank you, Angie, for looking out.
Seriously, because I mean, we could do our films all you want in our indie circles and our short films. That's beautiful, that's needed, that's necessary. But at the end of the day, we want to get the opportunities at the network level. We want showrunners to see our stuff. And I want showrunners to see the stuff that you guys are writing, because that's how we change those things. Like Eric, you mentioned, like we have all these problems within our own community, and that's how we do it. Just, being just fully committed to that, and pushing and not giving up, and writing and sending our stuff.
And be intentional too. I think that's the biggest thing.
Be intentional about the characters that you write into your stories, and how different they are from what we're used to seeing in Hollywood and TVs. Like, oh, it's the same thing. I've had my own share of like the first few roles that I've done in indie is the feisty Latina, and you have to be mean, and you have to like, I've done that. I've done all of that. Like, and when you're starting out, you'll do it because I'm like, I want to work. Like, I want to work. I want to act. I want to be on set. I want to meet people in the industry. So you do it, But now, it is a struggle, and I will say that when I get submitted to roles from my agent, there's just not that many that are specific to a person like me, or an Afro-Latina, or
definitely.
I will tell you, if I want to play it to my advantage, what they want to see is ethnically ambiguous, and I guess that's where I fit. But that's not Latina. That just means you could be whatever. Or people don't know what you are. So most of the roles that I'm seeing still
usually ethnically ambiguous is like white mixed with whatever.
Like, or the label they don't know what to put you on.
Right.
Because
they don't know what Latinos, to put you on.
Like, for example, my dad and my grandfather, they look Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
You have my granddad from my mom's side who is black, light-skinned black. You have my mom that is fair-skinned white, but she has a lot of black and Native American features. So
they don't know where to put you.
It's the label.
So they made this category called ethnically ambiguous, and so it's now that people that look like us are getting submitted to, and which is fine, but where are the intentional, like you said, like where are the intentional roles? Where are those opportunities? So it's either that, or is a role for open to all ethnicities. So, and now you're competing with everyone else. You're competing with the white actresses and the black actresses and everyone. So we definitely need to see.
I think that's like actually a good thing to discuss, because I think that those roles that say open to everybody, it's so ambiguous in the sense of, oh, let's just fill a box, or oh, I hate those. Those
right, exactly. So we have a long ways to go, but we just gotta work on it and keep at it, and just stay with it, and just be aware, that this is a problem, this is happening, and we have to do more. for sure.
I'm curious to see where you see the industry in like the next few years, because right now we're seeing the tides change a little bit, but I'm curious to see maybe what diversity looks like to you, I guess is a better question to ask.
We just, at the end of the day, you know what? I think it comes down to these numbers. I don't want to see less than 3%, the roles that we're at. It's like one person in this one show is Latino, or one person in this one show is like the Black lawyer, and that's it. Like, like they just, we want to see a more even landscape of colors and races and backgrounds. And I think there's been some progress made in the past few years, but I see, especially with everything that's going on now, 5 years from now, the hope and the goal is that we continue to see that change more. And then maybe we'll see more shows that are, there are all Latino, more Black shows on main, TV, primetime TV. They just canceled a couple of good Latino shows. One of my favorites was Vida on Stars. I love that show.
Oh yeah, and they canceled. That's right. And
it's 3 seasons. Yeah. So yeah, that show was amazing. It's amazing, and I know they're fighting to save it, but we need more of those shows. We need more of those shows on like mainstream networks and at the box office.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
But it's a process. It takes time. We're not gonna.
Yeah, it's not something that's gonna exactly. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, like look at the things we're still dealing with as far as race relations. Like you would think you're in a freaking, and we're in 2020, but
yeah.
When you really look at things,
it feels like you're living in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not gonna happen over time. We're just gonna have to commit, but
Yeah. Do you have any inspirations as an actress or creator of filmmakers that you look up to, that you see their careers and you want to imitate some of their actions and some of their voices in your personal career?
Yeah, I have people I look up to. Ooh, I hate trying to think of names. I always have like a scramble in my head. Like
yeah.
But I follow in the way I find out a lot about these opportunities is because I follow a lot of women showrunners, Latino women showrunners, Black women showrunners, like Tania Sarancho and Vida and Gloria.
Calderon Kellett, right?
Gloria Calderon Kellett. Yeah,
she's great.
Yeah, One Day at a Time. She's great. There's
what she show run?
One Day at a Time.
Oh, I like that show.
Yeah,
she's
so
great.
sad. It's.
They moved it to Pop TV.
Okay.
Netflix canceled it, and Pop TV
we picked it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Women like that. I love Rosario Dawson. I love what she does. I love everything she does. I look up to her.
She's
I kind of identify myself with like her, and So yeah, I try to be intentional about who I follow, and I just follow women like that to see what they're doing. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would die to work with either of them one day.
Yeah, I mean, Rosario Dawson is an amazing actress.
She's
beautiful. I think that anything that she does is just like, there you go.
Yeah,
a good project.
Oh, she was in the what was that show about the blind superhero?
Daredevil.
Yes, she was that. She played a nurse in it.
Yeah.
She was so good.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I think she was just for a season.
Yeah, she wasn't there long, but her acting was
spectacular.
On par.
And she's got some stuff coming on HBO. So yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, she is it her that's doing a show about like her sister's murder or something, and her trying to find the murderer?
I believe so. She has
I feel like
show,
that's her.
Yeah, and then she has another thing coming out on HBO with Ava DuVernay directing.
I think I know what you're saying. It's like has like guns and blood.
And their sheriff is like, you better leave this alone. And she's like, I'm gonna find whatever.
Yeah, I mean, she's.
I'm doing a terrible job at explaining.
It's just like you say. It's something like that. I forget the name also.
Oh man.
I mean, Rosario Dawson.
Briar Patch. Yes. Right.
Briar Patch.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
She's just a great actress.
Yeah.
Everything that she does. Yeah.
And she's super socially active. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think she's one of my top Latina actresses too. She's just great. She's up there with Rita Moreno.
Yeah, she's awesome. But if you ask me what Latino director, I will. If I could be in something Guillermo del Toro, that would be like amazing. I love his stuff. It's so like pushes boundaries and he's so freaking creative.
He likes to do things that are out of the box, definitely.
Way out of the box, like
super creative. Like I don't know, like the man's mind.
He has some other kind of mind. Like his mind is
like for Shape of Water. I mean,
I'm still confused. I think.
Yeah, for real. Like, how did that?
A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just Beauty and the Beast," but I'm like, Beauty and the Beast wasn't all this complicated. Hold on.
My husband, I dragged him to go see that movie because he's learned about films like with me, you know, being with me about appreciating films and like films that are not like mainstream. And there's certain theaters in Atlanta that show, you know, they don't all make it. Like if you go to Tara in Midtown, there's like the movies that are, you know. So I've been teaching him, but you know, Shape of Water was in the big theaters. So I say, we have to go see this movie. This is going to be big at the Oscars. He's like, oh, what is this about? I'm like, no, don't worry. You like it.
Don't worry.
What's that? I was like, you have to appreciate the man. Yeah. Like he's, and if you saw Pan's Labyrinth, I was like, I was like, but then I was thinking about his
Pan's Labyrinth. You know that movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
That movie was really scary.
It was the scene where the dude's lips gets cut into the smile, or like his lips gets stabbed to the side, and I'm like, no.
He gets slashed.
No.
On one side.
Slashed,
and then he starts to like put it together himself.
Yes. And like he's not even flinching. He's just like, fuck no, put this shit back together.
I mean, is that the move with the hands?
Yes,
right?
with the eyes and
with the eyes like that.
Me out too. I was like, why you
no, that shit was scary. Like, that's not a kid movie, but it's like a kid movie, but it's not like a kid movie.
Yeah, because it's told from a kid's perspective, but this is for adults. Do not let your children watch this.
And then at the end of it, I was like, well, this didn't happen. This was just our imagination, or maybe did it happen? So it's just brilliant. It's like shit like that.
I just remember that movie fucked me up. But if you can fuck me up, like I guess you're a good movie.
Yes,
like I'm still freaked out to this day.
Right, you'll never forget it. It's like Freddy for me.
For sure.
Oh my god. So what is the biggest advice you can give to young creators and young filmmakers?
The biggest advice oh my goodness. In
Sorry,
my career,
my mother was just calling me. Hold on.
Oh, hey mom.
Here we go. Sorry.
Repeat that question.
I know. Moms call at the best times. Moms always call you when you're like.
What's the biggest advice you can give to young creators and filmmakers?
I would say be unafraid, but while you're unafraid, don't forget that your work ethic in anything you do, that's what's gonna take you far. Your work ethic. That's what's gonna produce those relationships that are gonna take you places. Your work ethic. That's what's helped me, and that's not something I knew going into. You know, I've been in TV 10 years now, maybe more than 10 years if you count my internships. But when I look back and I'm like, what helped me? Because when you start out, whether it's in you know, TV or film, people are like, oh, that's a hard industry. You know, it's hard to make it. So many people want to do it. And I remember when I was still in college and I was looking into being an on-air reporter, because when you graduate broadcast journalism, that's kind of like the thing you want to go do. Right. And then I quickly decided I didn't want to do that. But people were like, oh, the numbers are against you. There's only so many positions in the whole country of reporters. So you have to get one of those 120 positions. So just know that you might not do it. So, you know, people will tell you all the reasons why it's not going to happen. And that's fine. That might be true. But you just have to work at it, stick through it. And work hard. And when I say work ethic, that just means sometimes you're gonna have to do stuff you don't want to do, or it's hard, or it's hours you don't want to work, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, that shows work ethic, and people appreciate that, and that's how people remember you. You know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you run into them again, or when you need something in the industry. Like I said, it's all about relationships, and you have to pick up the phone or send an email, and just continue in those relationships, you know, like and just be genuine with people when you meet people, not just for what they could do for you, but once you I forget who I was having a conversation with, and it was about in the acting industry. When you do networking events, right? And it's like some people hate networking because they're like, oh, well, I'll go to a networking event and I'll just try to meet all these people, and they're kind of designed for you to meet people, but the best networking happens while you're working on set, or while you're interning, or while you're volunteering, or while like actors, while we're working on student projects for no pay. That's the networking that counts, not when you go to a mixer and shake hands with people and exchange business cards. Like, that's bullshit, because you're not gonna get anything out of that. You're like, oh, I met this person, but people know you by your work ethic. They know who you are, and they know what you can do when you put yourself in opportunities, even though you're not getting paid, even though it's hard, or even though it's long hours, whatever the case may be. And that's the case in TV and film. Everything takes forever. Everything is long hours. Sometimes, you know, me working at CNN, I've worked the worst schedules you could ever imagine for a long time. But that's when networking happens, when you're working on something. So that's my advice for like young people. Just look at that, and everything is an opportunity, and just give it your best and just push through. And you know, just sow those relationships and work on those relationships. And that's really the best way that you're gonna get.
Right.
Yeah, that's really important. We really need to remember that. Well, Angie, it has been a pleasure to have you in our show. You were great. But before you go, we need to ask our most important question.
The most important
Mahalia,
question.
I'm gonna let you ask it.
Angie, what is your favorite TV show and movie?
I love that question.
You're the first person, I have to say, you are the first person to not go, oh my God.
No, the show, I probably have to think about it, but my favorite movie, without a doubt, forever and ever, is Shrek.
Yes! That is such a good movie.
Such a good movie. People don't even understand like the brilliantness of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I always tell them 2001 Academy Award winner, like this movie, and I've loved it for years. And
I mean, it's a funny.
It's hilarious. I didn't even get the adult jokes until I was older, and I was like,
you have to watch it and rewatch it, and then
levels.
Every time you watch it, you're like, oh my gosh, that was a joke.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. I love that movie, and no matter how I'm feeling, if I watch that movie, I'll be happy. So that's my favorite movie.
Also, talk about like a strong woman character. Fiona took no shit.
Oh yeah, she's a badass. I love her. So that's
true.
my favorite movie. My favorite show. Oh my God, that's a hard one because there's just so many shows. What's my favorite show?
Let's do three. Let's do three if you cannot.
Let's do three.
If you cannot, just name one.
Yeah, if you cannot, just name one. Yeah.
Okay. Breaking Bad.
Good one.
I've got that one a lot.
I probably should ask my husband what's my favorite show. He'll probably know. I'm trying to think of the shows that I know right now. Like, I could talk about shows that I know, like Rami on Hulu. Have you guys watched Rami?
Oh yeah, I saw the first season.
It looks so good.
It's freaking funny. Yeah, this second season just came out.
I need to watch that.
Right, it's about a Muslim.
Yes.
Guy wanting to get back into his religion, right?
And that family dynamic also, the Middle Eastern dynamic is a big part in it. But it's just so real. And just
it's so real.
I mean, the trailer looks so good.
It's hilarious. That's one of my favorite shows right now. One of my favorite shows that is not on TV anymore is Basket. on FX. It was Sad Galifianakis. It was a comedy, dark comedy.
Yes,
I love that show.
I have the some episodes on that. I don't remember like finishing the show, but I remember like some scenes in the back of my head. Basket, and FX.
Yeah, he's Basket. With Louis Anderson, who's amazing.
Yeah, that one.
He plays the mom. It's hilarious.
Okay, I think I've seen the trailer.
The trailer for it. Mm-hmm. It's a good show. Yeah. I mean, those three shows are solid picks. So
I would say those come to mind. Them. Thank you. Rami's awesome. I've been telling everyone to watch it because it's so crazy how his experience. He's also from an immigrant family, and it's like a lot of things are similar to you as an immigrant, like how your parents are and how they view the world and people. It's like my mom acts like that too. She says that kind of shit all the time. It's like it's funny. So
everybody watch.
Yeah.
So Shrek, everybody, if you haven't seen Shrek, and if you're listening to this, if you haven't seen Shrek, well, watch Shrek.
Go watch Shrek.
Ryan, have you seen Shrek?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. You said you didn't watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know what else you missed out on.
Right. What other classics have you missed out on?
Oh, man.
All right, Angie, thank you so much.
Thank
please
you all.
share
This
your
was
social
fun.
media.
Yes. Instagram and Twitter, Angie Castillo XO.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much, Angie.
Thank you guys. So this was fun.
Take care. See you soon.
Alrighty.
Well, guys, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed that interview with Angie. I know we did. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any closing comments, thoughts?
Hey, just keep fighting. Just keep fighting for what you want and for the things that you want to see on TV. I think that's the biggest thing that we can all get to.
Mm-hmm. Write the stories you want to see. Represent your people.
Yeah.
Keep creating.
Ryan, we weren't done yet. You're supposed to wait.
I'm sorry.
You see why it's so hard to get things done in here.
I'm so sorry. Oh, gosh.
But guys, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM. Check out our merch store. Purchase your Struggles Real paraphernalia. And then also, Ryan, stop pointing to the picture.
Whoa, chill out.
It's a girl in a bikini on Eric's computer.
Wait, it's a story of somebody.
It's a story.
Why is it on Eric's laptop? That's
because
weird.
it's Facebook.
A story on Facebook.
Oh my God,
You know what, Eric?
You were the
You know what, Ryan?
You know what?
Ryan, you always keep trying to stir shit up.
You're a creep.
Keep trying to stir shit
Whoa,
up.
you're the one who opened the laptop.
First of all, that was so unprofessional.
Okay,
I'm trying to close the show, and here you are going, whoa.
No. Whoa, that's not
like
it.
I was fucking kid at a candy store.
I was
try and fix that.
The reason I was pointing at the picture was I was like, Eric, what are you looking at? That's what I was pointing at.
That's clearly the initial page of Facebook.
Why would you do that during the show?
You know what?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that during the show?
Hey, don't shout. You're spiking the audio.
It's the initial.
Do your job.
Oh, chill out. You're spiking the audio. Chill. Whoa.
It's the initial page of Facebook.
You know what? Nobody cares, right?
Anything will pop up. The unprofessional, sir, it's you.
Don't point at me with that fat finger.
Thank you, producer, for ruining the outro. Thank you. No, we're not. We're gonna keep this because you did this. I want you to look back at your mistakes.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
I forgot what I was saying. Get your Struggles Real paraphernalia. God damn it, Brian. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Shit, I don't even know. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. I don't fucking know anymore. Ryan ruined it.
And don't forget to keep creating.
You don't get to say that.
What?
You don't get to say that.
Oh, follow us on Instagram and all of that good stuff. That too.
Plug that in, baby.
Okay, this outro has obviously been a disaster, so we're just gonna cut it right here. Bye, guys.
Bye.